G'day guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back for another episode of Wasteland Survival. So in today's episode I thought it was about time that we start upgrading the base with all of the new blocks that were added in the Warfare 2 update, specifically the reactors and the batteries and things like that. So also another thing that I kind of want to change is I want to update these turrets here to use railguns rather than autocannons. I just think, yeah, adding a little bit more defense to the base would be a good idea. Also, at some stage, I kind of want to put some turret installations here on the corner. So somewhere here. But I don't know exactly how I'm going to do that yet, so I will leave that to a little bit later. So what I'm going to do is head on into the reactor room, and I think what I would like to do is go ahead and actually change the reactors in the base to the new ones that were added in the Warfare 2 update. Also what I want to do is I want to change the batteries to the new ones that were added in the Warfare update as well. So let's go ahead and do just that. So let's head on into the reactor room. Now, the main issue I have here is how am I going to grind these things down? Now, I could do it by hand, but I don't really want to do that because it's going to take me absolutely forever to do so. So one thing I kind of noticed in this room was that I never actually installed the air vents at the top. So I suppose what I could do is put in a conveyor port here with a hinge and then put a piston down with a grinder and grind this thing out. Although, to be honest, I'm not sure if that whole scenario would take more time than actually grinding this thing down by hand. So yeah, I'm not sure. But I definitely want to add in some pressurization in this room. But I guess, yeah, it's so I got to run those things anyway, but yeah, I'm not sure if that would actually take longer than yeah, just grinding it all down by hand. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to do about that. Now, how do I get up there? So wait, why is this room not pressurized? That is bizarre. Interesting. It should be pressurized. All these doors are closed. Those doors are closed. That door at the end is closed. I don't know why this room is not pressurized. To be honest with you, I think it's just a glitch. So I'm going to have to kind of fix that. Ah, yeah. Of course. It's these half doors. Remember I said to you guys that these half doors are a little bit buggy. And they sometimes let out pressure where, you know, it shouldn't really let it out. So I think what's happening is that the pressurization is escaping from this room. So let me close that door again. Now I believe that I missed a couple of blocks in this room. So if I head on downstairs here and we go into this part underneath the reactor, and you can see here I never actually filled in this room, so I think this is what's causing my problem. So what I'm going to do is just place in a few blocks here, and hopefully I have some steel plates on me to do so. Let's get these welded up. Yeah, well, of course I don't. Okay, so now I have the required steel plates to weld these things up. And now hopefully the rest of the base should be pressurized, because everything in this base is sealed. So I should be okay now. Let's see what happens at this point. We still don't have pressurization. Okay. Yeah. Alright, you know what? I'm gonna leave it. I don't really know what's causing that, but I'm sure I will figure it out at some point. So now what I need to do is kind of run the conveyor system from this point here into that room, and then from there we can add some fancy pistons and hinges and all that sort of jazz to get rid of these reactors and then install the new ones. Alright guys, well I am back and I have laid out all of the conveyors through the roof here so that we have access yeah, to the conveyor system of the base. The only thing is that I just don't know if what I have actually done here is even going to really help me in terms of grinding these reactors down. So what I could do here is place in another conveyor like, well, I could maybe not put another conveyor in there, but I could put instead here a piston, but I don't think I can place a piston because I don't have enough room, as you can see there. The second thing is that I could place in maybe a hinge or something like that. So let's place a hinge down, and then on top of that maybe I could place myself a grinder. So we could place a grinder like this, and obviously I would spin the hinge the other way around so that this grinder could, like, yeah, kind of move. But you know what, to be honest with you, the amount of time it's going to take me to figure this out, honestly, it's just going to be quicker if I just grind this thing down by hand. I'm sure there is a way to do it, and I'm sure there will be many suggestions in the comments to do so. But the problem is that, yeah, I just can't really figure out anything at this point in time. So what I'm going to do is just remove the uranium from this reactor here, so when we grind it down, a whole bunch of uranium doesn't just spill out onto the floor. So let's get started in grinding this thing down. Okay, well, as you can see, everything is ground down, so now what we can do is go ahead and place in our new reactor, which is this one here. Let's find our large warfare reactor. Now I think I'm just going to point it this way, and I'm not really going to worry too much about the stairs and all that sort of jazz. I think that should be fine, but I think there is a way to actually get this thing welded up without too much trouble. So what we'll do is we'll try and place a welder here, and I honestly think that this will have the range that we need to actually get this thing welded up. So let's withdraw the components for that welder, and it seems like we can. Let's weld this baby up, and then what we'll do is we will turn this welder on, and then it should just go ahead and weld up this reactor for us. And while that's happening, what I'm going to do is replace this catwalk. So let's find our grated catwalk. I want one with a railing though. So initially these catwalks here, you can see that they don't have a railing because I wanted them to be able to access the port here on the side of the reactors, well, the existing reactors in the game. But obviously I'm going to have to get rid of these, so let's hope I have enough inventory space to do so. Let's replace this one with a catwalk railing on one side like that, and then I will do the exact same thing on the other side, and then we can go ahead and weld these two up. Also, what I want to do with this reactor room is I kind of want to replace these batteries with the new batteries that were added in the recent update. So yeah, that's another thing that I want to do as well. So let's get rid of our welder now because we no longer need that, and let's dump all the components into there. So now what I can do is I can just move back and forth and quickly grind this stuff out, because the conveyor port for this reactor is here, and I can just quickly go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and grind this thing down. So I'll see you once this one is ground down, and then we'll do the same thing and weld up the new one. Okay, cool. So the second reactor is now gone, so now we can go ahead and replace it with the new one once more. Unfortunately, what happened is when I was away, I actually accidentally ground out this catwalk here, so not a big deal, I guess. We can kind of fix that pretty easily if I actually have the components on me to do so. So I believe this one was a catwalk corner. So let's weld that up, and then what I'm going to do is withdraw the components for a welder once more. So let's find our welder, and let's go ahead. Why did I get out of that menu? That was a bit silly. And let's place our welder there and weld it up, and then it can weld this thing up for us. Let's turn that on, and there it goes, and it goes ahead and it welds up this reactor for us. Fantastic. Alright, so while that is doing that, I think I will withdraw the components I need for a whole bunch of vents. because I'm going to place some vents in this room here. So, how many vents do we need? We need 8 of these vents, don't we? So, okay. These ones I will place like that. And the ones on the opposite side, I will spin these around so that the lights are on the other side. So let's quickly weld these up. And obviously I need to remove that grind, or that welder, I should say, to then put in the other air vents here. Eventually at some point, I will actually go ahead and rename all these vents so they kind of make sense. And finally, we have a pressurized room. So, let's go ahead and place in our final vent like that. And there we go. And then also what I need to do from here is actually go ahead and place in our vents in the control center for the reactor room. So yeah, I think the new reactors look quite nice. I am going to change this screen here though. So can I change it? Really? Okay, that's interesting. Normally on blocks like this, you can actually change these. So let's rename this large reactor 1, and then base large warfare reactor 2. Yeah, normally you can change these screens. I am a little bit disappointed that you can't do that with these things. Maybe that's a feature they'll add later on, but hey. I don't know, overall I think the model still looks absolutely fantastic, so I'm not bummed too much about that. So, what we will do is go ahead and place in our vents like this. So let's move this one the other way. And now we should have a room here that is also pressurized, which is very nice. And I still think that the room outside is unpressurized, so there is that. Although now it's got, yeah. Oh, well, it's probably got something to do with the fact that there's a block missing from the roof. I wonder if I weld this block, will this area now become pressurized? No, it won't. What happens if I close this gate? And let's see what happens now. Now it pressurizes. Oh, okay. So the leak is here somewhere. Why is that? Why do I have a leak here? I cannot see any leaks. I do believe it is this door trolling me. I really do think that that is the problem that we have here. Unless there is a block underneath here that is not welded up. But as far as I can tell, they are all welded up. Everything here is welded up. There's no leaks here or on the roof or anywhere else. The only way it could possibly be leaking is through this door. So, yeah, these doors, man. Keen, please, please fix these doors. They have glitches. They have glitches. Well, enough about that. Let's get on to replacing the batteries. And I think for now what we'll do is we'll close this door so that this space is now pressurized. And now, oh, I was going to say, I thought it wasn't pressurized yet again. Okay, so I wonder, have I actually renamed these batteries? Let us check. Wasteland base battery 1. So I'm going to copy that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of all these batteries. The problem here is that, yes, I am going to waste a whole heap of resources manufacturing new battery components, or power cells, I should say. But you know what? I really like the models of the new, the new batteries. So I am willing to take that hit. So let's manufacture about 1,000 of those. I think that should hopefully be enough, but I guess we will see what happens. So what I'm going to do is get rid of all these batteries, and then I will show you what it looks like with all the new batteries. Alright, well that is the last battery done, so now what I need to do is go ahead and replace these grated catwalks with the ones with a railing on one side, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in some heat vents as well, I think, because I feel like those blocks are really cool and I would really like to make use of them. The only thing is I'm not sure exactly where I am going to place those heat vents, so let's grab the materials for this one. Cool. Alright, so one of the things with this room is like the back wall is quite boring, so I think what I'm going to do is replicate this kind of setup, but just kind of like, instead of putting windows there, I think what I'm going to do instead is place in some heat vents. So let's grind all of this stuff out, and yes, the room will be depressurized, but that is fine. Fantastic. Okay, so everything is ground out, so now we can go ahead and place in our blocks. So we want this color here, so I want to place these ones like that, spin these around, and then I want to place some up here as well. And then from there I'm going to grab this block here and orientate it the correct way, spin it around, place it there, and then do the same there, and then also the same there. And then here we will put in our 2x1 base, so we'll place that there like that, and very good. Okay, so then we just need to weld these up, but I think what I'll do first though is I'll actually place down these heat vent blocks. I don't know where I'm going to place them. I guess we can place them here, maybe for the remote control block. Now I was trying to figure out which line of blocks this was like a member of, and what I mean by that is, like, for example, like this block here has a group of other blocks in the menu, but it seems like the heat vent is a block on its own and it isn't actually in any menus. So it kind of makes sense, but at the same time it's kind of like I wish it was kind of in its own menu. I think that would be nice, but alright, let's go ahead and weld all these blocks up. Cool, so now those blocks are welded up. So what I want to do is just add 3 of these to my build planner, and then I should be able to weld these up, if I can get close enough to them. Hang on. Why are the vents going the other way around? That's weird. Alright, let me grab these blocks again and then spin them around. So I want them to go... That's weird. Hang on. What happens if I weld this up? Okay. That's a bit strange. So if I grab this heat vent block, you can see that the louvers are pointing upwards. But then when I weld it up, they're going in the opposite direction. What? That doesn't make any sense. Okay, well, you know, it is what it is, so we're just going to have to kind of deal with that. Yeah, that's a little bit strange. Alright, so I should have all the components I need to get these done. Now, the thing with these heat vents is that the way they operate is they basically operate on the amount of power draw that's on your grid. Now, the way that they also operate is that it's kind of directly proportional between the amount of energy that you are producing versus the amount of energy that you are withdrawing. And right now, all these reactors are kind of, they are outputting what? 59.52 megawatts each, which is quite a lot. I assume that is because they are charging these batteries. Realistically, what I could do is turn off these reactors and then actually get the wind turbines to do the job for me, but I think, yeah, I would prefer these batteries to be charged up as fast as possible. So at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter either way. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. But what I'm going to do though is I am going to adjust these heat vents. So let's find our heat vents. We'll select all of these. Now they do have a little bit of a crazy PCU here, so I might set these to about 2%, because at the moment, yes, we are charging these batteries and we are consuming a lot of power, but once that is done, there won't be that big of a consumption of power, so I don't think 2% is too bad. I think it will work out quite nicely. Now the thing is, do I place some around the rest of the base? First of all though, I think what I would like to do is actually go ahead and replace these blocks down here. So let's go ahead and do that. So we'll withdraw a couple of steel plates here, and then we'll finally seal off this section. I will make it this color here, and then we'll just place in some blocks here. I could do something at the bottom of this room, but I'm not exactly sure what I want to do down there yet, so maybe I could place in some batteries there or something like that, but hey, I don't know, not really too sure. So I am thinking about placing some heat vents on top of these batteries as well. I'm not sure how that's going to look though. So what I need to do is grind out all of these blocks. Okay, so they're all ground out. So now what I can do is go in and place my heat vents down. So what I want to do is place the louvers facing upwards, and then it will place the block with the louvers facing downwards, which makes no sense whatsoever, but hey, that is what it is. Right, so then we will grab these blocks here and color them this color, place them all along here like that, and all hunky-dory. So now we just need to weld this up. So at least this way, this top portion kind of matches that part there, or sorry, this part here where there's a 2x1 base kind of matches up the top here, and then we have our 2 blocks in the middle. The only thing is that it kind of removes a bit of the shape of this room, and the walls will kind of look flat. I'm hoping it doesn't look too bad when I do that, but I guess we'll have to just kind of see what it looks like. So let me get all of this stuff welded up, and then we'll just kind of make our decision once we can see everything in action. Cool, so they're welded up and I think they're looking pretty good. I am quite happy with how they are working. So let's find our heat vents once more. Let's select all of them. I'm going to reduce the intensity of the light to about 0.8, and then I'll set the offset to 0, and the power dependency will set to 2%. And now they are fully open. So yeah, I think they look quite good. I don't know, so let's have a look through here, through the command center. Yeah, so I think that actually looks quite good through this window at least. Let's get rid of my welder so we can get a decent look at this. Yeah, I like it. I don't know about you guys, but I like it. So now all I got to do is replicate the exact same thing on the other side, and then we should be good to go. Maybe though, maybe what I will do is potentially get rid of this one here in the corner. I feel like it looks a little bit lonely there. And then we have these ones on the back wall, so yeah, maybe we can get rid of this one, get rid of that, and then just place in these blocks like they were before, and I think that will be adequate. And then it kind of has a bit of parity between this part and that part there. Yeah, or maybe what I do is place another battery there or something else. It doesn't really match this kind of setup. Alright, let's get rid of this, and let's place in this, and then just a regular old armor block. Yeah, I think that looks a little bit nicer. I would really like these, yeah, I would really like to change these here. Maybe at one stage what I can do is change these pillars to something else. Like maybe these blocks here, which is the... I always forget the name of these beam blocks. Maybe I could do that at one stage, but obviously I won't do that for the roof because those blocks obviously are not airtight. Alright, so I'm going to install heat vents on the rest of it, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I'm back, and as you can see, I have placed in all the heat vents. And now that all these batteries are charged, you can kind of see what I was talking about before. These heat vents aren't even open at all. Well, these ones are like ever so slightly open, but these ones on the left, which I have not configured yet, aren't even open whatsoever. So I think what I'll do is I will adjust these heat vents once more. So let's find... The only thing is these heat vents have a PCU of about... yeah, they've got a PCU of like 50 each, I think it was. So let's change the power dependency to like 0.5% and let's see what happens then. Yep, you can see it's open up there, so I think that looks alright. I'm going to adjust the offset again. The intensity, I will set this to like, maybe let's go even lower to like 0.5 so that the light kind of doesn't spill out. And in fact, I wonder what happens if I find my heat vents and I actually reduce the radius of the light. What happens if I go to 1 meter? Yeah, I think that's pretty good. So it seems like these things are like lights as well. So when you draw more power, you can actually get like an effect where the entire room is heating up. So that's kind of cool, to be honest. Although the one thing I don't understand is why the default color for these things is the color at minimal load is red and the color at maximum load is yellow. You kind of would expect that to be the other way around, but I mean, yeah, I'm pretty happy with how they look anyway, so I think we'll just kind of leave it at that. Now, so I think it is time to now go outside and sort out some of these weapons. So if you guys remember before, what I had planned to do was go all the way outside and hey look, now it's pressurized. Oh yeah, that's right, it's because this door here is closed. So now, as I was saying, weapons. Right, I think what I want to do here is I want to change the autocannons that are sitting on top of the control tower to railguns. So if I am not mistaken, you can fit like 4 railguns on each one of these turrets. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Also, another thing that I would like to do is maybe somewhere at this point, I would like a turret installation to come out past here, like maybe to about this point here. And then I'm going to put in some large railguns. And you can see my world ship is still parked on top of that turret. Well, thankfully we haven't been attacked and that thing's been destroyed, but hey, what do you do? Yeah, so I would really love to put in some of those large railguns, but I'm not exactly sure what design I'm going to go with. So yeah, that's something I'm going to have to kind of figure out, and perhaps I will do that off camera. But for now, what I am going to do off camera is I am going to replace these autocannons with some small grid railguns. So I will see you once that is done. Alright guys, welcome back. So as you can see, I've kind of half done this turret here. I've kind of hit a creative wall in terms of I don't really know exactly what I want to do with this thing. It kind of looks pretty good from this point here, but then when you come around to the back, you can see like this really flat piece, and it just does not look right. The other thing as well is that if I was to kind of put in some 2x1 bases here to kind of round it out a little bit, then I think what would happen is it would kind of get stuck and it wouldn't be able to shoot straight upwards. So I think for now I'm just going to leave this the way it is, because yeah, I can't really figure out exactly what I do want to do with this. But there is another thing that I kind of want to do to this base, and I think I mentioned it before, but what I would like to do is place a turret installation here that has some of these large railguns on it. So I think I have an idea on how to get these railguns working, but this is going to be a bit of a complicated build. So okay, basically there's a couple of different ways that you can do these railguns. So I mean, what you could do is, if we have a look at the railgun, we move it around here. What I could do is I could, it would be nice if, How can I make this go further away from my character? I can't really. But basically what I could do is I could place a hinge at the back. But then, you know, it's got to move up and down like that. And I don't know if that's really what I want to do. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have something similar to... which turret is similar to that? Something maybe like this one here. Let's bring out our turrets here. And so yeah, something like one of these ones where there is... Let me just get up here. So something like one of these where there's a middle portion, there's a base, there's a rotor there, and then there's two rotors on either side. Now the main issue with the custom turret controller block is that it only allows you to select one rotor going this way. So what I'm going to have to do is kind of merge two rotors together and make one rotor like sort of a dummy rotor and the other one an active rotor that's actually going to be the one that, you know, moves the gun up and down. So, but first of all, I think what I need to do is find a location for this gun. So what I am planning here is maybe what we can do is we will enter the control tower, and I would like to put it about in the middle somewhere here, but maybe let's see, roughly, I can't remember exactly how many blocks upwards this control tower is compared to this hallway down here. Oh yeah, that's right, that door's not automatic. So maybe what I'll do here is I will actually grab a projector. So let's find a projector and let's place one down there. And then just grab the components for that. Cool. Okay, that's welded up. Now let's get ourselves a button panel. So one of these little control panels. Place that there. Okay, now let's find our projector. So where is our projector? Again, with the projector 2, why are they always projector 2? That is really annoying. So let's call this turret projector. It must be this one because all the values are set to 0. Whereas this one here, you can see all the values have been set. So let's get rid of that. Let's go to blueprints. And I think it was test. Yeah, it was this one here. So what I want to do is move that over. So let's find our projector once more. Turret projector, and then let's change the pitch, I believe it is. Yep. So, and then I want the vertical offset to be 1, which makes no sense whatsoever, given that that is the top of the rotor, or the projector. Maybe that is... Yeah, maybe that's the bottom of the projector. No, but in the diagram it's listed as that being the top. I never understand why a positive value goes down and a negative value goes up. That just makes no sense to me. But anyway, okay, so let's head on outside and see roughly where this kind of pokes out of the mountain. I may end up, and the reason why I'm doing this is because what I plan to do is use the conveyors at the bottom of that hallway there to then join up to this turret and get everything working. So I think it's probably a little bit high. What I may do is find out how many blocks are between this point and that point up there, and then just make it half. So let's figure this out. Okay, so we have 22 blocks, so half of that is about 11. So I think what I'll do is I'll count 11 blocks up, and then I'll make that my floor. So what have we got? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And this here can be where we will place our turret. So let's make this go all the way back into the mountain. And we shall pin it down there, although it seems like I have run out of steel plates. So I need to grab some more, but maybe we can just kind of rob some more from here. And let's go ahead and place in this block there. Alright, fantastic. So, what I want this thing to be is... How wide do I want to make this? I'm just going to make a square platform for now. And then we can kind of worry about the shape a little bit later. So, how many blocks did I put down on that side? So, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And then we'll go 1, 2, 3... darn it. Right. Now I've got some more blocks. So, we got 1, 2. Let's go 1, 2 again. Now, I wonder if that is... Do I want to place the turret there, or do I want to not place it so far? I don't know. That's a bit of an interesting concept. The other thing too is maybe I might make this about 3 blocks higher. And the reason for that is because what I probably plan to do is have a leg that goes underneath this one. Unlike the control tower, I kind of feel like this thing will need a leg underneath it. So maybe instead what we can do is go maybe like, yeah, about there. And let's place down some blocks here. I think that should be enough. Maybe I'll go 4 blocks. Alright, let's try that and see how that looks. I don't know why the game is constantly twitching like it is. It is really annoying me. Right, let's place our blocks in like that. Okay. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. So what I'm going to do is just get rid of these 2 blocks. And then what I'll do here is I'll just place in like 3 blocks here like that. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and then 1, and then do the exact same thing over here as well. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, and then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1. Okay, so now we have a kind of platform to start off with. What I'll do though is, before I continue, I'm going to turn off this projector here. So let's find our projector. Projector, turret projector. Let's turn this off. Okay, fantastic. Now I did notice that Keen did an update just before I started to hit the record button. So I'm wondering if that is what is causing the performance issues, or maybe it was that blueprint. But I mean, the blueprint wasn't that big, so I don't know why it's causing performance issues. Anyway, alright, let's get started with this turret. So, obviously this is going to be my midpoint. So I think what I'm going to do is, right here, we are going to place in an advanced rotor. So let's find ourselves an advanced rotor here. So this one here. Let's place it with the 0 degree mark facing towards the front, like so. We will grab the materials for that. I don't really need to weld it up right now, so perhaps I will just leave it. And then what I'm going to do is place down some blocks like this. So we'll place down our blocks like that. And then I want it to be very similar to how I have these turrets here set up, or how Keen Software set up these turrets. So you can see, like, you've got this nice round piece here, and then you've got this this little kind of leg that pops out. So I want to kind of replicate that in my design. So I think what I'll do to that end is, well, if the game stops trolling me and doesn't freaking keep freezing on me, then maybe we'll do something. Okay, so let's place in some blocks like this. And then, come on, work with me, game, work with me. And we'll place a block in here like that. Now, I don't think I want to go for full 2x1 tips here. Maybe instead what we can do is we can use these little blocks here. So let's place in those. And let's place in another one here like that, and then another one there like that. And then on the corners here, I will do something similar to what I've done with those gun installations, and we'll use these beam blocks. So I think in the corner here, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll place in some of these blocks. I could use the round blocks, but yeah, given that my base is majority straight blocks, I think the round blocks just look kind of weird. So let's put all that in, and let's get all this welded up and then see how this all looks. Okay, so that is everything welded up, and I think as far as a base goes, I don't think that looks half bad. So what I need to do now is just go ahead and weld up this rotor, and I believe I have added that to my build planner, and yes I have. So let us go and build that, although what I do also need is another, or a conveyor junction, and perhaps two, although I don't think I can withdraw that amount of materials because my inventory is kind of full. Okay, this twitching is really bugging me, guys, but there isn't too much I can do about it, so I've just got to kind of live with it. The game was working absolutely fine before, but for some reason now, after this update that I've released, it's just not working right. Alright, so let's place a conveyor there. So what this will be is, this will be kind of like the midpoint. So from this one here, I think what I'm going to do is place in some blocks like this. So we'll grab these ones, 2x1 bases, we'll put them in there like that, and place another one there, and then we'll place in these corner bits here. So place those in, and then it kind of matches up with the base. So you can see that the base kind of lines up with this little part here. Right, so we'll place all those blocks down, then we will go and weld all of these up too. Okay, so they're all welded up. I want to probably weld up this conveyor junction. I probably want to grab the materials for another conveyor junction, so let's grab materials for one more conveyor junction, and then I want the materials for 2 advanced rotors, so 2 of those, and then I want 2 advanced rotor parts. Interesting. The material, there's more materials in the rotor parts than the actual rotor itself. I find that interesting. Okay, so let's place our conveyor down there like that. Which way is this orientated? Yeah, that looks good enough. Okay, so then from there, what I want to do is I want to hide this conveyor. I don't want this thing to be visible because it will look ugly. And then I will place in another piece like that. Then I will grab this bit here, this little tiny tip, and we'll place that there. Place it there as well. And then also there, and finally on this side here. Right, and then what I want to do is I am going to place in my advanced rotor. I probably want, it doesn't really matter which way these are orientated, because honestly when you go to control the turret, it's not like it really matters which like where the 0 point is and things like that. What? Why is that spinning? Okay. Never mind. Right, let's weld all this stuff up. Okay, so all of this stuff is now welded up. So let's recolor these light armor blocks here. And then I think what I want to do here is we're going to go into these rotors, and I'm going to rotor lock these things. Because when I go ahead and attach the railgun's just going to fall to the ground, and that's exactly what I don't want to happen. I want these railguns to be completely straight when I place them. So let's find, what is this one, isn't it? Current angle 352. What? Hang on. Unlimited. That is bizarre. Hang on. Must be these two. Yeah, that one is on the bottom. That doesn't matter. Alright, so I believe this is a separate grid, so I'm just going to rotor lock all of these rotors, including the one on the bottom. yeah, as you can see, it's not connected to the rest of the grid. I thought I was kind of rotor locking the one that had the satellite dish, but no, I am rotor locking these. Okay, so from here what we're going to do is we are going to add in our railguns. So perhaps I can make these the same color as like maybe those guns up there, but I'm not exactly sure. So we're going to place these down like this. Game, please, just please stop freezing on me. It's getting annoying, man. Okay, yeah, so you can kind of see how this thing is looking. It doesn't look fantastic at the moment, but I plan to dress this up a little bit. So basically what I need to do at this point is I need to go ahead and join these two guns together, because as I said before, the custom turret controller is incapable of adding two elevation rotors. So the only way I can get this to work is to get one of these rotors to actually control both of these guns and elevate the guns. So what I need to do is join both of these guns together. And here's where it gets a little bit tricky. So the only real way to do this is to put in a block here, a block here, and a block here. And this is why I've rotor locked these as well. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put in a merge block here. So let's grab our merge block and let's place it there like that. And then what we're going to do is we are going to place one on the other side as well. So let me weld these two up. I don't think I will worry about welding up the railguns just yet, but at least we will get these merge blocks done. So let's go and weld up these merge blocks. And that's right, I have no energy. How do I have no fuel? I just fueled up. Okay, I'll be back in a second. Alright, I'm back, and I finally have some energy and some fuel again. Just before I hit the record button, I literally had 3 full bottles of hydrogen. That's crazy how fast you can go through fuel on this planet. Okay, so as I was saying, we're going to weld these two merge blocks up, and then from there, what I'm going to do is I am going to select both of these rotors. Now, can I adjust the rotor through here? No, I can't. So I'm probably going to have to put on a button panel here. So would I actually have the materials to do so? Well, it seems to think that I do. No, of course not. That would be way too easy. Okay, now that's welded up. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find these two rotors. Now it should be this rotor here and this rotor here, because they are directly attached to this conveyor junction, so they are on the same grid. Whereas this rotor here is the rotor down the bottom, because it's obviously yellow, which means it's part of a subgrid. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select both of these rotors. And then what I'm going to do is basically just move the rotor displacement to a negative value. But notice how I'm doing this on both of the rotors, because I want both of them to be the same displacement. And then, bang, there we go. So now these two grids are merged. So now what we can do is we can disable one of these rotors or turn it off, and then use only one of these rotors as the up and down movement. So yeah, now what I plan to do from here is actually fill this part out here, and I want to put something along the top here that kind of joins these two together. So yeah, there is that too. So what I'll do though is I'm going to weld up these things off camera and try and figure out why the game's performance is so absolutely horrible, and hopefully I can figure it out and get it fixed. So I will see you guys in a moment. Alright, and there we go. These are both welded up now. And I think this thing looks absolutely, yeah, just awesome. Alright, so let's dress up the top. So I'm not sure exactly what I want to do here, but I'm thinking I could do like two things. So one thing I could do is I could go like you know, something very boring like this, you know, and just like kind of join them flat like this, for example. So let's go and place in some half blocks, and this is taking me way too long. So I could do something like that, which I think, yeah, it's alright, but it's pretty boring. So I think what I'll do instead is let's get rid of this. And guys, I really do apologize for the sim speed drops. Normally what I would do is I'd end the recording and I'd do it another day, but unfortunately time kind of escapes me and I can't figure out what is causing these issues. So yeah, we're just gonna have to kind of deal with it. Alright, so I think what I want to do is maybe have it go like this way and then like a V shape like that. So maybe what we can do is we can start off with a 2x1 tip like on either side like that. And then what we can do from there is we can grab one of these new blocks here. I keep saying they're new, but they've been in the game for a while now, so I suppose they're not really that new, are they? So, and then from there we'll grab this block here and we'll place that in like that, and then another one in there like that. And then here what we can do is we can go ahead and place in a light armor slope, and then from there we could place in one of these blocks maybe like this, maybe, and then another block like this, not like that. Alright, so wait, where is it? Come back. There we go. Right, so like that. And then I will do the same on this side here. So we have one of those blocks there, and then one of those blocks there, and one of these blocks here. And then do I stop it there or do I keep going? Alright, so maybe we'll place another block there like that, and then another one there like that. I do apologize for my croaky voice, but every time I hit the record button, I seem to get something stuck in my throat. So, like that. And then what we can do is just add in a half block here. So let's find our half block, and we add our half block like that. And so let's weld this up and just see exactly how this looks. Alright, well that's all done, and I think so far it's looking pretty good. Now what we can do is, now that everything is joined up, we can kind of get rid of these parts here. So now what we can do is just grind this stuff out. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. Maybe what I should do is probably pin this thing to the mountain a bit better. So let's pin this down a bit more, just in case I accidentally grind away one tiny little block and then all my hard work kind of gets, yeah, gets absolutely destroyed. So let's grind away. Fine. Okay, so it looks okay from the top. I think I'm definitely digging this whole kind of jazz here. What I would like to do is kind of extend that whole thing to the back here. So I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do that though. So maybe I'll play around with these blocks a little bit and we can kind of figure out how to do that. Alright, so I think I've figured out a way to kind of dress up the back of this a little bit, although we will kind of have to see how this goes. So we are getting quite late into the episode, and I would kind of be tempted to end the episode at this point, although I think I would be doing you guys a disservice if I was to do that. So what I'm going to do is place in these beam blocks here. I might turn my torch on at this point because it is getting quite late in the day. Well, at least in game anyway. So let's place one of these blocks here like this. And then I'm going to place one of these beam blocks like this here. Like that. Spin that around. Do the same there. Place in our little beam blocks like this. And then here, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll place in some half beam blocks like this. And honestly, I think that looks pretty good. Let's weld this up and just see what it looks like now. Cool. Okay, so everything is welded up, and I actually think that looks pretty good. The only problem is that this portion here may collide with this leg, and then I might not have a decent like arc on this thing. So let us grab our rotor here. So I've gone ahead and I've renamed all these railguns and things like that, and the railgun rotors, and we've got our railgun dummy rotor. So this one, as you can see, has been turned off. The railgun drive rotor is on. I've removed the rotor lock from all of these. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to reverse this thing. So we'll set it at a speed and we'll see how high this thing actually goes. I may end up having to adjust this whole setup here. So it has a reasonable arc on it, but it is not fantastic. So I think what I'm going to have to do is adjust these blocks at the back. So what I'll do is I will reverse this rotor once more. I will wait for it to get to 0 degrees, and then we should be all good to go to adjust that. Okay, now it is centered to about 0. So one of the other things I want to do is I want to kind of oh, there's some steel plates there. I want to kind of cover this conveyor junction here. So let's do that. And then also what I want to do is probably fill out this part here as well. So what I'll do is, let's see how we can do this. So I might place a block there, a block there, and then we can grab one of these blocks here. And I need somewhere to put a camera, but I don't know where I'm going to place it. I could place one like maybe here or something, but as you can see, this block here is preventing me from placing a block here. So I don't know how I'm going to get around that fact. Maybe what I can do is grind all of this stuff away, and then move this entire thing, because I mean I need to get rid of this stuff anyway, because the turret can't really go fully 90 degrees, and that's really what it needs to be able to do. And then maybe I can get rid of this block here, and then let's see if I can set this to a full 90 degrees. So railgun drive rotor, let's maybe set that to, so the upper limit, I want to probably set this to 90, and then hopefully it should stop at 90 degrees. Let's see if it does. I think perhaps something is gonna get stuck here, and yes, indeed, that block there is gonna stop us from going the full 90 degrees. So let's get rid of these blocks here. And now is it at full 90 degrees? Let's have a look here. Railgun drive rotor, 90 degrees. Okay, cool. So now can I place a block? Alright, I'm done. This isn't how I planned it to go. Okay, so let's set this one, this drive rotor, to maybe, so unlimited. I need to go 0 degrees. Let's reverse this. I'll increase the speed a bit, and then it should stop at 0 degrees, which is dead flat. Okay, fantastic. Now what I can do is I can grab a block like this, and I can place in this block here. Now what I want to do is I want to add a camera here, but you see that I can't because this block here is in the way. Even though it's not going to collide with this block, the way that the game is, it will not let me add it. So what I'll do though is I'm gonna now, so let's weld that block up and you know what, let's weld up the rest of them. And now let's reverse this rotor once more. So I will remove the restrictions from this rotor once I'm finished doing this whole scenario. And then what I want to do is I want to place my camera here. So, where's my camera? Here we go. So, can I place a camera there? No, it will not let me. So, perhaps if I get rid of this block and this block, maybe now it will let me get rid of, or let me place my camera. Will it let me? Oh, yes. Fantastic. And there we go. Oh, that is so satisfying. I have been thinking about that for a very long time. Alright, let's see if I can place my block in there. And it won't let me. So what I need to do is move this thing up again. So let's find our railgun drive rotor. Let's reverse that thing once more. And then once this thing is in a full 90-degree position, then all of the block collisions should allow me then to place in my blocks back here where I wanted them to. Fantastic. That is absolutely awesome. Alright, let's place those there and let's weld these up. Okay, so now I have my camera, I have everything set up, ready to go for this turret. So now all I need to do is use that pre-placed custom turret controller to then, yeah, get everything working. The camera is a little bit dodgy where it is, but you know, it is what it is, and that's probably the best I can do. So what I will do from here is we'll add in another one of probably this block here, and we will go maybe like that as well. So then I think we are looking pretty good. And then I think I was going to place in these blocks here like that, and then another 2x1 tip like that, and then from there is where I was going to place in my other beam blocks. But I think here maybe what I'll do, instead of adding the 2x1 beam blocks, maybe what we can do is we can go something like, we can just use the 45-degree angle beam blocks. So we can place one there like that, spin that around, place that there, place that there, and again there, and again there. And then here we can place in a full beam block, just a regular square beam block. And let's see how far back this rotor can go now. So let's reverse this thing and let's see what kind of an arc we can get out of this now. Yeah, to be honest, it's like pretty much the same. It's no different than what it was before. So I'm really going to have to rethink this whole turret design. I'm pretty happy with this part that goes over the top, but I think what I may do is add in another block in between this block and this block, and then push this thing backwards, and then maybe not even worry about these beam blocks here. Get rid of these and then replace it with something else, because I think maybe that might be the best thing to do, and then at least this turret can kind of go very high up, because I want this thing to be able to shoot things right up in the sky. Because I mean, if an enemy kind of spawns there, then you know, if this turret can't shoot it, then I'm kind of not doing too well. So, but anyway guys, I have kind of run out of time in this episode, and I'm really upset that I can't get this completed in this episode, but I guess, you know what, it gives you guys something to look forward to in the next episode. So next episode, we're going to get this thing tied up. We're going to figure out exactly how we can get this thing to work the way that I want it to work. And yeah, so I really hope you enjoyed the episode, guys, and I hope to see you in the next episode. If you did like this episode, then definitely consider leaving a like and subscribing so that you do not miss the next episode. Alright guys, I will see you next time.